Hello, I'm Adrian, and welcome to Fight Scene Breakdown. Today we're taking a look at the CG animated short film Goku vs. Superman. Goku vs. Superman, perhaps the most controversial and polarizing fictional battle of our times. Dozens of videos have analyzed it, so many forums are dedicated to breaking it down, plenty of articles have been written claiming they have the definitive answer, and yet it's still a hotly contested and vehemently debated fight. In my brother's latest animation, Goku vs. Superman, he sought out to animate the most authentic and dynamic matchup between these two powerhouses, and this video is going to not only break down a couple of the techniques seen in the short, but also the theory behind the battle unfolding and why it turned out the way it did. If you haven't seen the short, please do so right now, as not only is it an excellent video, I wouldn't want to ruin the ending for you. Click on the description below or the card above to see the full video on my brother's YouTube channel, Spidey406. Okay, now that you've seen it, let's take a look at this battle for the ages. Although both Goku and Superman are ludicrously powerful individuals, what sets them apart is their training. Superman essentially learned what he needed to know about fighting as he went along. In the film Man of Steel, Zod humorously asks Superman, "Where did you train? On a farm?" And he's actually right on the money. Superman had no formal training. As discussed on my Superman vs. Zod fight scene breakdown, the only reason Superman even won that fight was because Zod was at a tremendous disadvantage. Not only was Zod fighting in an unfamiliar territory, he was barely grasping the scope of his powers. Superman had his entire life thus far to learn how to fly, use his heat vision, hone in his ability to hear, among many other things. So while Zod is learning in real time how to use his heat vision or even fly, Superman is busy trying to pummel him as much as possible. He lucks out by getting the drop on him and landing in a rear naked choke, but if Zod had been left alive for even a couple minutes longer, his superior military training would have surpassed Superman's blunt force in a matter of seconds. This holds true in the follow-up film Batman vs. Superman, where he is repeatedly attacked and eventually defeated by Doomsday. Even in the animated film, Doomsday beats Superman to a bloody pulp. Superman does land an epic space tackle, but the battle does exhaust Superman to the point of almost death, a sort of super coma. These battles are important to note because they set up very important facts about Superman. Number 1, he has tremendous strength. Number 2, he's untrained. And number 3, he can be bested by individuals stronger than him. Looking at the other side of the coin, Goku's an accomplished martial artist, having learned the fictional Gohan turtle fighting style, which is taught to him as a child. He went on to learn several others as he grew up and faced increasingly powerful villains as the series progressed. He went from facing Saiyans that can literally blow up planets, to Frieza, who can cut a mountain in half by merely blinking his eye, to Majin Buu, who was capable of not only individually targeting and killing practically every human being on the planet, but also blew up the planet itself. And he was able to defeat these progressively stronger and stronger villains only through training. Several times Goku was beaten down to an inch of his life, but he kept on fighting, relying on an incredibly important Saiyan concept explained in the earlier episodes of the Dragon Ball Z saga. When a Saiyan is beaten down to an inch of his life, but gets an opportunity to recover, he comes back to an even stronger place than where he was before. Essentially, his opponent is not only helping him better his technique, but even become stronger in the process. These help establish 3 key components of Goku as well. Number 1, he's also incredibly strong. Number 2, he's very well trained and dedicates his life to bettering his technique. And number 3, he can become even stronger when he's beaten to an edge of his life. Now let's take a closer look at how this battle unfolded. The battle begins with Superman asking Goku for a sparring partner. Knowing he's in for a good fight, Goku can't resist the possibility of fighting a strong opponent, so he accepts. Goku starts off the fight aggressively, delivering a high roundhouse kick and 2 punches which are easily blocked by Superman. Supes counters with a spinning back fist and a high roundhouse of his own. And one of the neater things of dealing with flying characters is that they can launch into attacks that would be impossible to execute on the ground. One such attack is this backflip kick right here, followed up by this overhead strike. Goku's formal training doesn't really start to shine until a bit later, where he effortlessly delivers this 3-hit combo. First up is a spinning crescent kick, followed by a roundhouse, and then turning into a spinning side kick. Superman continues to counter Goku's movements with punches, and Goku shows off a bit of his playful side by turning around midway in the battle, eventually delivering an overhead strike that propels Superman into the rocks. Superman finally uses his heat vision, chasing Goku down the desert trying to land a hit. When he's unable to, he actually manages to deflect and also reverse Goku's energy attacks. He continues his furious assault and doesn't let up, making Goku resort to one of his most powerful energy attacks, the Kamehameha. Superman instantly launches his own heat vision, leading to an epic clash where he clearly prevails, injuring Goku in the process. With Goku on the losing end of the fight, Superman lets loose a barrage of punches and throws him across the battlefield. Now, remember the Saiyan concept of becoming even more powerful once you're beaten down to your last breath? Here's where we see that concept happening. Goku focuses that new energy and blasts his way up to Super Saiyan 2. Dragon Ball Z fans may be left wondering why he didn't simply go to Super Saiyan 3 or even Super Saiyan 4, or if we're going by the new series canon, Super Saiyan God. And to this we need to delve into Goku's fighting philosophy. He always tests his enemies out with his base form to see just how strong they are and how they fight. Once he tunes into this, he will make the right power level choice to continue the fight, or put in other terms, elevate his ki or power level to a place where it will inflict enough damage to his opponent, but still remain at a level where he can control it. If you think back to the series, Super Saiyan 3 is incredibly tricky. Although it is very powerful, it wastes an insane amount of ki to be in it, and 4 and above is reserved for enemies that are ludicrously powerful. Based on Soup's performance so far, Goku made the judgment call that 2 would be enough to continue the fight. And to the Superman fans who have seen videos where Goku, by going to his most powerful form, still isn't able to exceed Superman's power level, it's quite frankly a little preposterous. A handy quote that is frequently used in these videos is that Superman is as strong as he needs to be, which sounds like the laziest catch-all phrase of all time, as it's not based on the actual facts of the series. If this were true, Superman would have easily beaten Doomsday and Darkseid with little to no trouble. He could have just become stronger. But let's assume for a moment that Superman is, in fact, stronger than Goku. This does not necessarily mean he will win. Across battles and all sorts of stories, the strongest character does not always win. David beat Goliath in the Bible, Kratos beat Zeus in God of War 3, Batman has beaten Superman, and even Venom, who is much stronger than Spider-Man, is routinely outsmarted by Spider-Man and defeated. In this case, Goku is a much more skilled and tactical fighter than Superman, having fought with trained super-powered martial artists his entire life, not just powerful untrained behemoths like Doomsday or even Darkseid. But I'm getting a little sidetracked here, so let's return to the battle at hand. Goku, now at Super Saiyan 2, really doesn't need to be terribly offensive anymore. He mostly relies on dodging and blocking Superman's hits. Several of his hits which used to strike, such as his various punches or even his knee, simply don't work on Goku anymore. Goku's playful confidence even translates into him literally taking a breather in the middle of the fight and effortlessly dodging his overhead strike and deftly deflecting the heat vision he had to run away from before, leaving Superman absolutely stunned. He further attacks Superman by using his incredibly useful teleporting move, giving him an unprecedented control of the battlefield. Superman is launched right back to a pile of boulders and proceeds to do the same to Goku, and they meet up in the sky to go into their final confrontation. Superman, motivated by his previous beatdown, finally starts connecting a few hits with Goku again. Goku even shows a bit of judo by countering Superman's tackle by grabbing his neck and then kicking him up and over him. Later on, in a reverse of circumstances, Superman must flee Goku's energy attacks, but Superman later comes back with a vengeance after destroying Goku's next energy attack and proceeds to punch him Man of Steel style just like he did with Zod. However, this sudden burst of energy really leaves Superman tired, and Goku, sensing this, takes advantage of his momentary weakness to turn the odds in his favor by push-kicking him into a devastating teleportation combo, which begins with a clothesline, which, as a small aside, is actually delivered incredibly well. A clothesline in which you clock your opponent with your inside elbow joint is one in which you are asking to seriously injure yourself. You need to twist your forearm inward in order for this attack to be effective. He follows up with a high kick, a spinning hook kick, a reverse elbow, and finally a devastating 540 hook kick. And here we go into the final moments of the battle. Goku realizes Superman is beaten, explaining how Superman fought well above a power level he could maintain, causing him to drastically decrease in power output. But Superman at this point is furious at the fact that his sparring partner has bested him, so he blasts at Goku. Goku turns around and in an instant is able to dematerialize Superman with an energy attack, teleporting to another place. In sum, Superman is one of the most powerful fictional characters of all time. There's no argument there. He can circle around the globe in no time flat, see through walls, and release a lethal beam of heat vision towards his enemies. But Goku's impressive in other ways. He trains to increase his power, is not just gifted with it, and has a much larger understanding of how to use it, and when not to use it. He's a far more strategic fighter, knows several martial arts, and has been brought to the brink of death dozens of times, even literally dying at some points, not just in a super coma state. But all of this has made him into a much stronger and experienced fighter than Superman will ever need to be in the DC universe. Superman has the help of an entire Justice League. Goku has himself and occasionally his son or Vegeta to help him out. Just like my brother said in his behind the scenes video, Goku is all around a more experienced, knowledgeable, and better fighter than Superman. Superman may have a lot of raw power, but Goku knows how to channel it and how to use that power a lot better than Superman, and that is why Goku won. What did you guys think of the fight? Which fight would you like me to analyze next? Join my Patreon to get access to cool behind the scenes stuff and a bunch of other rewards. Subscribe and you can follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and brand new Facebook fan page, Godzilla Rex. See you next time. And as a final aside, if you want to get really technical, Goku could have touched Superman's shoulder for an instant and teleport him to another planet, making Superman instantaneously lose all his superpowers.